Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is another channeled reading. It's channeling the throne angel. I had a vision and a sighting, if you will, of this angel yesterday. And then today I had one again, and it was outside and up super high into the clouds, and it was kind of windy, and I was looking up. The sky is like filled with the clear sky, but with yellows and oranges, like fire. And I'm looking at the throne angel and more towards the um, reference towards the throne angel in the Bible. So I like to learn about different beings, and I do love receiving these messages and doing the readings. I also had other visions today too, as if I needed to do something with them. So there was another vision of an angel that had many eyes too. Again, um, more of a biblical reference. And the throne angel is definitely of that nature too. So only different, and the angel serves other roles, although they could do multiple things. And then there was a vision of a lion with fire too. And I felt like I wanted to do this reading. I was planning on doing the reading for Scorpio, and when I was also thinking about the message of Scorpio, I figured this could go hand in hand because it's just such a rich message. So I do have many decks that I'll be using, predominantly, mainly the angel decks that I have, or that kind of are um, around that type of deck. And I have the Slavic Legends Tarot. It's the main deck. Then I also have the Watcher Angel Tarot. This is one of my prized ones because my dad gifted this one to me. So the Watcher Angels are the, I'm sorry, that's my cat, angelic beings that come down to earth to experience mortal love. And I feel like that's definitely fitting for this reading. This is also a super special deck because I received it on Christmas, and I I've never had this reaction with any other deck. I actually got emotional. And I stopped it at 444. My cat was using the litter box, and even yesterday, there was a reference to the throne angel because I pulled out the Game of Thrones tarot. Um, And again, I haven't used that one in a long time, well over a year, and I decided to take that one out. I also have the Celestial Frequency Oracle cards, and they have like these copper gilded in a way backs, and even the box. This is actually a potent deck. I have the mm, Mysteries of Mary Tarot, and this is a special deck too. It's created by Hetien, and she is in West Africa. I haven't talked to her in years. But when I got this deck from her, she included her book, and I was so excited. Um, Now the deck is in one of the religious museums in Italy, and um, she also has another deck out too. So this is all handmade, and you'll see the images on the cards of what I mean by that too. Then this was a gift, the Healing with the Angels Oracle cards. Also fitting to the creator being during virtue being one of the angels. So, or virtues. The main message that I was picking up on is that emotional trauma from previous relationships. So I'm gonna start pulling out cards. Oh, and I also wanted to show another mm, item that is under the umbrella of what I was discussing a couple of seconds ago. It's interesting these cards came out, and it's on top of what I'm going to show you, but integration is a, one of the words that I was getting from another deck because I was pulling out a card from the Watcher Angel Tarot to see if I was confirming that I was going to use it, and I got one of the cards. It was the Two of Pentacles with integration written on it, higher self integration, and the Tellus crystal avatar with magnetism, which is interesting with magnetism because it's it feels like the idea of the polarity of two of the um it's two inseparable polarities because that's the concept of a magnet. And I say that because it feels like there is some type of healing or rekindling or ignition, something of that nature. It's the little things that you really kind of pick up on because I picked up something that I haven't worked on in months because it's technically a holiday knit and um, it was just something that I was working on. So it's self-striping socks. I got a couple of rows in before starting the video. So it's like looking into my area of projects and almost falling in love with it again because I did have I had thoughts about working on it and I didn't because I had other projects going and this was more of like a holiday knit and socks aren't projects that I normally work on. I love knitting garments and mittens. And then scarves or cowls, cowls being a scarf too. But as I was saying, one of the books that I was talking about, or the item that I was talking about, is a book. I've had it for years. It's from Savers, and Savers from New England. I got most of my metaphysical books. Most of my books are metaphysical books that I received mainly from um, a practitioner that was purging some things. That's an interesting concept too, because I was thinking about the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. A lot of pentacles in this reading, and I haven't turned over the tarot cards and I haven't pulled out from the other cards, but 12 when I was looking. And the Four of Pentacles, almost like a hoarding energy or holding something back or holding something to yourself. It's very much of like squirrel energy and maybe preparation, but sometimes you have so much, like why do you need any more? But it's just in case, of course. With the squirrel, it's different, but it could be a different reality for a person that likes to maximize things. And sometimes we max things out when we're left with so much we don't appreciate for the things that are there. And I'm also getting something for each purpose. Then the Five of Pentacles can seem like a loss, but for this, I'm seeing it as a purge or a cleanse or something. Well, cleanse, not completely linking to the Five of Pentacles, but a purge or detoxifying in a way where you're clearing out your environment does seem to be more relevant. And already moving off to the side of my bed, but this is an angel book, Angels A to Z, and this isn't just angels. There are beings from many different religions, um, and one thing that might be helpful, because I was thinking about it for the past couple of days about the different types of angels. They have a chart of seeing hierarchy of angels. So you'll see this chart and it has the different orders closest to God and then the ones that get closer to us too, and then the angels in the categories. It's an alphabetical order, so if you have something specific that you're looking for, it's easy to navigate if that's the type of thing that you like, because again, the metaphysical majority of my books are metaphysical, and then majority of my books are reference books. Um, there's also, I'm going to start pulling out more cards. There's also the concept of looking past what is there or what you see. Maybe if something or somebody tells you something or gives you something, um, maybe it's not who you expect to hear it from, but it's one of those things where you're meant to hear it from them. And even with the angels, and we're giving some biblical references too, and not more of what's kind of portrayed and what you usually deem angels to be. Of course, with the purpose, it can be generally purpose, but there are um, some specifics to the beings. So, with the concept of listening to the message rather than who you're getting the message from, or there's more to seeing and to believe more. Because, say, with the throne angel, it a lot of things, a lot of places in the Bible, it's like, do not be afraid. And why aren't we going to be afraid? Or why should we be afraid? And why is Ezekiel describing the throne angel as like a horrifying or disturbing sight? Because the throne angel is essentially like, it kind of looks like a ring or um, that has a bunch of eyes and is fire. And it's so vast and it takes up such a large amount of the sky when you look at the throne angel. And that's why we shouldn't be afraid. And that's why there are certain veils or things that are covered and certain beings that might have a specific type of way that they show themselves to us because they think that we're going to be afraid because it's not something that we've seen or heard from before. We're seeing it and we're hearing it at a different frequency. That's what we're trying to do. I'm also getting a resilient energy too. I feel, and again, this is turning into more of like a channeled message because the only cards that I turned over are the two that I showed you. Um, for some Scorpios, and even this is a collective reading at this point, have gone through really extreme cases with relationships. It's almost as if you've been through things or you've seen other situations that kind of give you like the heebie-jeebies about partnership. This is also a special reading too because I'm not going to cuss. I literally said I was gonna do like a no cussing Sunday, and the song that was like in my head that came up as soon as I had that thought was like, at first you don't succeed, dust yourself up and try again. Lyrics from the song. And I was like, ugh, rude. I feel like sometimes like my guides are tired of me, like they want to guide somebody else. That's a joke, but um, hopefully people don't take my jokes too seriously. Because I don't mean to upset people, I really don't. Um, there's also a funny thing too, because um, like some of my friends, like at least two of my friends, and it back in like I don't know, before when we would talk about certain things and it would be like, girl, you're trying to find a Solulu for your Delulu. And basically saying, girl, you're trying to find a solution for your delusional thoughts. So for some, I'm getting it might be nice to have like conversations about the types of trauma that you have, or if you're thinking about a person or situation, it is really important not to internalize it too much. I think it's going to increase the heebie-jeebie factor of it. Like I feel so rated G. It's okay. I don't actually um curse so much, but when I do, I feel like there's like an emphasis on it. And then with dreams, it's interesting with dreams because um I've just been having such specific dreams. I do usually, but um as of lately it's been more evident. I would say last night, do you really want to hear about I already brought it up. Um I was dreaming and then I saw myself, but I was looking at myself and I saw dragons like here, and it was almost like circling. And depending on the dragons and the part of the world, there holds significance to that too. I'm gonna say someone's in deep. Someone is starting their either you or maybe their friend, your friend or somebody that is starting their investigation with a situation or person. You have the Knight of Wands and it's the investigator. It's amazing how much research you do on these things and not on other things that maybe are mandatory to do, like for an assignment. Of course, you end up doing it, but it's not as like, in your heart, it's not as dire. And that's what it feels like with the Scorpio energy going into the depths. And going into the depths, reminding me of the moon card and bringing something out and releasing something, as if you're bringing it out of the closet and you're cleansing and you're purging that energy or your environment. Also, with that, bringing it out and seeing it for what it really is. Again, finding a Solulu to your Delulu. So, there are certain things that may leave you blindsided, especially if there is a dynamic between you and a person. If you have these hopes and dreams, and to remember to kind of center yourself and to think about yourself too. Um, have a focus on yourself and your intentions, and then see what the other person has and how they're reciprocating or what they're giving back to you. Um, it's definitely helpful. And with the Mysteries of Mary, I have the Empress card here too. And that feels like a slow buildup. It seems like the more things that you experience, and even if you haven't been through many relationships, the ones that you have been through really made an impact. And it's part of the building blocks, or it's part of like your cell, the cells that you're made out of. And that's what you're growing from and growing into. And I'm also getting like, don't, I mean, if this is what you want to do, of course, like, no judgment, but I don't think you want to grow into like a monster type of energy where you turn into the things that you tried to keep, maybe that were in the closet. And sometimes they're in the closet for so long you forget about them. And that's the thing with trauma. There's also this book that's like a young adult type of book, Prozac Nation. So Prozac is a branded medication that helps with depression. And it gives a perspective of young adults, like teenagers, or um, that have that type of mindset. And I remember one part of the book, specifically, that it's like 1 minute you don't have depression, and then all of a sudden, like, you just push forward into some time, and all of a sudden you have depression. And sometimes, and a lot of times, you don't really pinpoint how you got it, but it kind of builds up. And that's part of the thing. You're not going to want to build this up. It's something that you want to build down. And you're going to want to build a stronger foundation. Otherwise, I mean, it's the beginning stages, but it also references the tower card too, because something is off about the tower. Something needs to fall. This tower is in ruins. This tower is somewhere, someplace that isn't stable, or it's built for the wrong intentions. And over time, we realize these things, and then we're forced to rebuild ourselves. And maybe it's the mentality of like our body is our temple. We need to stop destroying our body in many different ways. And I see that there is also another Knight of Wands here too. This will be more of a channeled message, I guess, for me, and I'll look at the cards too. And it's interesting because in the Watcher Angel Tarot, the High Priest, which is the Hierophant in decks, is um, you could see it as a woman, if you may. And it might be an interesting concept because maybe with different areas of the world, they revered women as like the gods or the creators because of how they create through themselves. And then it said that men found out that they were a part of that process, and then they kind of took over that role. And take it for what it is. Um, but it could be up to that interpretation. It to remember who you are and what your own moral compass is, and what you stand for, and how do you portray that, and how are you representing that to yourself in this world. And again, with the, because I mentioned it in a couple of videos ago, what's important to you in a world that is constantly changing? What stays constant, and what brings you back to source? What is your primal um, definition of yourself, if that's it? It could be defined as that. Um, a struggle is the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. I feel like this really digs deep. It feels like instead, with the Ace of Swords feeling more reversed, instead of vocalizing things, it's internalized. And in return, with the Two of Coins, the Two of Pentacles, you prioritize everything else but what's internal because you can't see what's internal. At least maybe you can't see what's internal. Um, but eventually, once maybe the depression gets worse, once the trauma gets to you, once you're constantly investigating this person because the trust issues are just through the roof, is it really not noticeable anymore? And that's what we're trying to get past. Sorry, my foot's falling asleep. How to overcome this? There is improvement, and it does seem like it's diligently working on these things. And I do feel that this could be linked to external forces that you have around you. This could be a hobby that you find therapeutic and it brings something out in you. It may bring out like the inner child, and it might bring out the trauma that you've had as maybe a child or maybe growing up or maybe the type of personality that you have and how it is stated in the world. Maybe you're an introvert in an extroverted world. It's usually how it is. They have books about it. And maybe it's the type of exterior, the personality that you have. Maybe your soul is softer. And again, that can be perceived as something that might be inconsiderate, insignificant. It might be inconsiderate. Um, might be also threatening in a way because um, it can be a person or a situation that really brings down those barriers and it makes the other person or situation more exposed or vulnerable. They say to toughen your children up because of the world that they live in. But why don't we flip the script and we think about it in another way and we turn the Ace of Swords reversed upright again? And instead of toughening them, how about we let them be who they are and have the world soften because of them, have them make the world seem like it's a better place by exposing the type of love and generosity and tenderness that they have instead of trying to change their personality. I feel like there is a point to be comfortable in your own skin. And that's what I think is chipping away with the Three of Coins, the Three of Pentacles, and getting your toolbox. And what have you learned? What have you kept in your arsenal? And what are you going to use? And how are you going to use it? And even with the Throne Angel, as I mentioned previously in another video, being able to be like the chariot and to bring justice to humanity, kind of balancing and serving that purpose to bring a sort of divine peace into the world in a world that's chaotic. So the King of Pentacles in this deck is the provider. There seems to be an expectation about what it is to be who you are. I feel like that's one of the main messages that comes out of this reading. And it seems like maybe you might have been dubbed or not dumped, but put into a position or place that seemed to be a thing that could help represent you. And in a way, I feel that it might have defined the situation at this point. Um, that could be where the Five of Cups comes from. That's one of the overall energies in this reading. And it kind of reminds me, and this is more of a mindful thought, since I was just talking about the cups, of philosophy and asking those uncomfortable questions to people. Might be not uncomfortable to some people, but there are some things that we keep in the closet, and maybe we might not think that they're that relevant. And there is a sense of, I could move past this because I don't see it, but then it becomes evident that it's there. Another energy that you have is the Page of Coins, the Page of Pentacles. There's a lot of emphasis on the Pentacles, um, which is an interesting energy to have for this reading, I'd say. Because with parables in the Bible and in stories throughout the world, they're meant to humanize the divine so that the humans can connect, that we could see it as something that we understand because there's something that we're not asking. And one of the main topics that I had in college is like dichotomous thinking, asking and thinking about the right questions. And how are we going to pinpoint it? And it doesn't get any better. And sometimes it's like, you know, you're getting hotter or colder with that if you're trying to look for something or trying to get gauge something. When you don't ask these questions, when you don't deal with these things, it seems like things just get colder and colder. And from that, when you don't give a chance for yourself to nurture yourself or to do the things that are necessary for you in order to build your yourself up, your body up, whatever part of your body or as a whole, um, to balance it out, it's left with an unknown and like almost like a question mark. And it's honestly strange if it's you who's giving yourself the question mark. And I think with the Page of Coins, the Page of Pentacles really gives yourself the chance and the acceptance and the approval, as if you're approved to do this. You're approved to take this opportunity to get to know yourself, to take care of yourself, to wind down, to make sure that in these moments you're able to really um, feel and like maybe like taste and chew and spit out things that you don't like. These are necessary to know yourself. Who's going to know yourself better than yourself? And it'd be strange if somebody else knew you more than you knew yourself. In the past, you had the Ace of Cups. For some reason, I'm getting this as like a wandering, wandering and wondering. Um, it's almost as if Something got lost in the depths with the Ace of Cups. Like Atlantis, or something that is lost in the ruins or lost in the ocean. Um, Something that once was, and now you look at it. A tethered garment or a building that once was something so significant in society is now in ruins. It wasn't kept up with. And that's a similar concept to what it is to really keep up with yourself. But something is blooming. You have the Queen of Wands in the future. And it's like something just ignites or shines. It's like a radiant energy. And it kind of feels like I can make or do whatever I please. There's, but there is a solemn expression as if she has seen or done things or witnessed things that weren't as favorable. It's almost as if you were choosing one of the lesser evils of a moment. But that's how it is. It's a moment. And sometimes life slips past you because of that one moment. And you have to really grasp it and um to really enjoy the tenderness of life. So I'll pull out some more cards. There's so many court cards and major arcana that's coming out of the Watcher Angel Tarot. Another card is another Queen of Wands, and this one is the Guide. And it does feel like, let me show you the ropes because I've been through it, I've seen it, and some things you might want to experience, some things you might want to take my word on. But there's also that like unapologetic expression of self that comes from it that really has the soul shine. There is protection. I'm actually looking at my anklet, my ankle brace, my ankle bracelet, and it has the evil eye on there, like the one that helps protect you. I feel like the reading is almost finished because it doesn't seem like the cards want to come out anymore. So I'll pull out one more card and I'll read from the book, from the Oracle, or one of the Oracle decks, the Angel one. Or, yeah, well, the other one's the Celestial one. Healing with the Angels. To be one with the Divine Masters is to be one with oneself. That's a quote from myself. So the card that we have here is Enlightenment, Enlightened Mastery. And there is something about the way how things can be brighter and more, um, I don't want to say better, instead of holding on to the hurt. Why wouldn't you want to move forward and to gradually release it one manageable step at a time into something that is so vast and so precious to you? Why hold on to something that you might hate, that might be the worst word that I use in this video, and to lean more on to and to brace and to internalize something that you love wholeheartedly? As I said in another video, too, the purest form of love. I love this, and then that's it. No, if you there are other things that surround it, it's complexities that are surrounding love, but it's not in its purest form. And at the bottom of the deck, um, it has discernment, like a fearless journey. And it's interesting with the animals, because with some of the angels, they're seen as multiple animals and multiple eyes and multiple wings. And it may surprise people because if we saw those images, how would we feel? Because the Bible will tell you, or other books that give you messages from the divine, will tell you to not be afraid. Because if you see it for what it really is, how would you love it? So the last card, and this came out um reversed too because I put it down reversed. It's the Queen of Vessels, the Queen of Cups, which is interesting. With it, sorry, oh my God, sorry. It being such a, like it's technically more towards like a Scorpio reading. But again, I felt that it could be a message for the collective. So, um, I will I'll do that on my personal channel too. But with the Queen of Cups, what does she hold on to? What does she cry about? I I feel it's almost as if you're in your room behind closed doors and all you're doing a lot of the time is crying. And of course, it's not an overnight thing at all to battle these things that might haunt you, but what is your way of moving forward? Because sometimes it just keeps us in one place and we don't do anything about it. So I feel one of our assignments is to, because I feel like it is good to give yourself something to look forward to or to do or to learn on a daily, to keep the momentum and to Also, it is good exercise and, in a sense, a good disciplinary tool on um, how do you move forward from things and think about what can help ignite it? What can you do to for it to be part of this regime or program that you build for yourself? And it doesn't seem to be the most exciting thing to do, but sometimes when we it's good to push ourselves because sometimes it's like you're on a road and you get you get in a pothole or like it just seems like there is like a trench um and it's so deep and it gets deeper and deeper the longer it lingers, and how do you get out of that? So thank you guys so much for watching, um and I hope it doesn't seem like too much of like a task or assignment because I feel that once you get the ball rolling and once you take the first step, it gets better. And of course, there's going to be twists and turns, but in the end, you'll be in a different place than where you were before. So thank you guys so much for watching, and oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read the card, so I'll read that and then I'll end the video. The dreams card meaning. Pay attention to your dreams right now. Keep a dream journal. You're receiving important messages during your dreams. Sometimes you may wake up and feel with the feeling that you have traveled or received instructions during your sleep. You wonder, why can't I remember my dreams? The messages and experiences of your dreams are never truly lost or forgotten. They are instead incorporated into your unconscious so that your higher self's wisdom and love governs your actions. You can more easily remember your dreams by writing whatever you recall immediately upon awakening. Just write any little bit that you can remember, and the rest of the dream will unravel in your memory. Remember your dream journal often and look for patterns and themes. These recurrent dream issues signify messages that your higher self and angels are trying to tell you. Also, if you do that and you remember something that stands out in your dream, if you, I don't know if you have done it before or not, all you need, all you do is like you write down, say you saw this in a dream, then after that you just put dream interpretation, and it brings you to a list of different websites that whatever you want to click on. It could give you something that might be helpful for you, and there must have been a reason why you remembered it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.